Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have a pen here for review, and this pen was given to me by Ben Walsh at Gravitas Pens. And if you don't know, Gravitas Pens are in Dublin in Ireland, and this is one of his newer Sentry models. The Sentry model is a much larger model. It's longer and wider than the entry model, and so he's aptly named this Sentry. This is a pen made out of brass, so this is not only a large pen but a heavy pen. And Ben was actually asking me what sort of pens do I like, and I said I do prefer larger pens, longer pens, weightier pens, girthier pens. And he said, well, I have the pen just right for you then. So this is the Gravitas Sentry in brass. One thing I should say is brass, like copper, will patina, will tarnish over time. So this is about a week on from the London Pen Show when I picked this up. He left because he couldn't make it to the pen show. He left this with Jose from Nibs.lab, who was manning his table at the London Pen Show. And so I picked this up from Jose, and one thing Jose said to me, he said, this pen will tarnish or patina very, very quickly. So, and it already has within a week. It's not as shiny as it was, and I've actually tried to keep this away from air. I've tried to keep it in a box just to make sure it didn't patina, but it's going to over time. Some people like that patina, some people do not like that patina. I typically don't mind patina when it's on sort of brass or copper, but I typically do not like it on silver. So this is the pen from Gravitas, and whether or not I will polish this on a regular basis, I don't know yet. I will have to see, but you can see the Gravitas logo there. This pen is very weighty, and I'll show you that in a little bit, but you can see here that the tip of the pen comes to a conical point there. There is no clip on this pen. It's all cylindrical, and you have that same conical point there as well on the back end of the pen. Now, the pen itself, it does taper in towards the cap frenule here. It tapers out to about here, and then tapers in slightly. There's a slight step there. It's not a step that would bother me in any way. The body then continues to taper down to what is the blind cap there. Now, if I unscrew the cap here, and the cap itself is very heavy. You'll see there it is all brass inside. There is no, there's like a slight sort of step down there for the section to butt up against. The nib here is a Yovo nib, and that's a broad nib with, I believe, an ABS plastic feed. That's normally what Yovo nibs come with. Now, if I unscrew the body here, you'll see it comes with an international converter here, and that just, it's not a thread one, but it will just push into place here. Now, I don't know if the camera view is going to show this very well, but this section here is actually, it's got texture to it. Almost looks or feels as though there are lines going around that section, and that just helps, I think, in terms of tactile grip of that pen there. So if I move my finger up and down here, I can actually feel it's ribbed. It's very, very fine lines, but it is ribbed. So if anybody has any qualms about using a metal section, because sometimes they can be slippery, you should not find that with this section. Other thing I would mention is that these are metal threads. Now, typically, I believe you can eyedropper brass. It's not something I would want to do, but you can do. it's not something that I personally would do, and you have a cartridge converter here, so honestly I would say use the cartridge converter. If you were to try and eyedropper, then you would have to obviously use some silicone grease around those threads, but I don't think it's going to be a pen that you want to eyedropper, honestly. This pen actually is very, very weighty. It really, really does feel substantial in my hand. I have other pens around this weight as well, solid silver pens. But this is not only a weighty pen, but it's also a long pen. Can I post the cap? You can, and it posts very deeply. It doesn't actually grip onto the body, and you're not going to want it to grip, because if you do, it's going to start marking that body. So you can, if you wanted to, if you're worried about losing caps, you can post that cap if you want. But again, it's not something that I normally do with my pens. But I do like the size of this pen, and I do like the weight of the pen. I will have to see how it tarnishes over time, because when it comes to brass or copper, I don't mind so much. Silver, I do like to try and polish that clean. So it's going to be interesting over time whether or not I polish this or not. So we shall see. But it's already starting to get a little bit of patina on this body. So if you're one that don't like seeing patina or tarnishing, then that may be not the pen for you. However, Ben does have other pens as well, and I can actually just show you just a glimpse of another pen here, which is the Skittles Sentry, which is in a rainbow color. So if you don't like brass, and you also want a pen that's a little bit lighter, then maybe go for the Skittles, because this is still a heavy pen. It's not as heavy though as the brass pen, but it's not far off it. So if you want something with a little bit more bling, perhaps a little bit more rainbow color, or even just a plain color, then go for something like a Skittles or another Sentry model. So I think with that, let's do a size check. We'll do a weight check. We'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample. So the length of the pen, we are looking at about 140, I want to say 145 millimeters in length. The length of the cap is 60 millimeters in length. Now we will try and not have the pen roll away, and we'll check the size of the pen here. So to the tip of the nib, or tip of the tines, we're looking about 140 millimeters in length. So that for me is an oversized pen for sure. Now I think let's go and do a weight check. Now this pen's going to roll off, so I'm going to have to try and be a bit careful with this. But we're looking about just over 88 grams in weight. So that in itself is a weighty pen. The weight of the cap is just over 26 grams in weight, and then the weight of the body, and again I'm going to try and stop it rolling, we're looking at over 62 grams in weight. So this is a very, very weighty pen. So if you don't like weighty pens, then maybe the brass version of this pen from Gravitas isn't for you. But if, like me, you do like weighty pens, you do like longer pens, you do like girthier pens, then I have to say this is a really good pen. So I want to thank Ben for allowing me to review this pen, and for dropping this pen off at the London Pen Show. So I think with that, let's go and do a comparison with other pens. So from left to right, we have a TWSBI VAC 700R Iris, we have a Benu Scepter, we have a Santini Italia, this is a Libra in the amber, we have a Sailor King of Pen, this is a Pro Gear, and it's a Lucky Charm. We have the Gravitas Sentry in brass. We have a Scribo Fil in the Verde Prato, a Visconti Homo Sapiens London Fog. We have a London Pen Company Christopher 14, and this is in the Conway Stewart Honey Noir. We have a Montegrappa Extra 1930 Shiny Lines Dove, and we have a Parker Duofold, and this is the Prestige Blue Chevron. So let's do a writing sample. So we have the Gravitas, and this is the Sentry, and this is officially termed the Raw Brass, which retails for, I believe, €85 on the Gravitas website. Now, you can get, in terms of nibs, you can get extra fine, fine, medium, and broad 1.1 and 1.5 stub nibs. This is a broad nib. It's a Yovo steel nib. And the ink in here today is a diamine, and it is golden brown. So I thought I would try and match the ink to this pen color, and obviously it's a brass pen color. To be honest, I don't think I've actually seen any ink that is called brass on the market. Maybe there is. Let me know if you have seen any. So in terms of line variation, this is a Western broad nib. Can I push it a bit harder? Yes, I can. I can probably get it to go to a double broad there. And you can see there, that's given quite a bit of shading with this ink as well. And still, I'm not getting any hard starts or skips on that Yovo nib. Now, in terms of ink wetness, let's take a look. So this is a broad nib, and I would say that that is definitely putting down a very wet line. It's not what I would class as being a fire hose nib. Typically, I do find with the Yovo nibs that the nibs are very wet, but not to fire hose, what I would call a fire hose nib in terms of wetness, which typically would be about half the width of this A4 page or beyond. What do I like? What do I not like about this pen? Well, I'd like to thank Ben again for sending me this pen for review, having it dropped off to me at the London Pen Show. I like the size, I like the weight of this pen, and I did say to Ben that I do like longer pens, I do like weightier pens. So for me, that is really, really good. I like that it's a cartridge converter. I like that it's got a Yovo nib on it as well. I typically do like Bock nibs as well, but I find for the steel nibs, I typically like Yovo nibs more. And so from that perspective, I do like that. There really isn't anything that I dislike about the pen. I know obviously it will be a little bit of a sort of a controversial comment in terms of, do you let a pen patina or not patina? I probably think I will polish this pen a lot, but I don't know. I will just wait and see. I might actually like the patina when this patina's more. I have another brass pen, a brass demonstrator, which has patinaed a lot, and although I did polish it a little bit, I ended up not polishing it, and I actually like the look of it. So I think I will probably, as much as I love this beautiful shiny look, this brass colour look, I think I will probably like it patinaed as well. So that's really it about the review of the Gravitas Sentry pen in the raw brass finish. Again, I'd like to thank Ben from Gravitas Pens. You can check out a link here below and also a link in the description to his website. If you like this pen, do go and buy it from Gravitas Pens. He is in Ireland, ships from Ireland. So if you are in the European Union, then you won't pay any import tax. If you are in the UK, I think there might be, but I haven't ordered directly. Likewise, you won't pay anything in a lot of other countries, like if you're ordering from the US. So again, I'd like to thank Ben for sending me this pen for review. So that's my review of the Gravitas Sentry Raw Brass pen in a broad steel nib. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye-bye.